Okay, what's up, world? This is episode number 2, and I have a special guest, and she is an amazing person, somebody that I've seen throughout the years at my local gym. And so she's a rock star, a former bodybuilder, and her name is Caitlin Hitter. So we're going to get into a little bit about her background, and she has an amazing story that anyone that wants to embark on the health and fitness journey should really hear her story and hear how she was able to overcome a lot of uh, challenges to the person that she's become now. So let's get into the episode. So Caitlin, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
Good.
Doing good. Well, hey, I want to say thank you first of all for coming to the Jonathan Merritt Show. This is episode number 2, and so I just want to say I appreciate you taking the time to just kind of chat to our listeners and share with us some of the gems.
Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So I think the first things first, all right? Who are you? Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
All right. Well, my name is Caitlin, and I am from a small town in Indiana called Plainfield. Moved to Frisco, Texas, beginning of 2020, about a month before the shutdown. So that was an experience. And my background is in fitness sales. So I moved out here with a company called Lifetime Fitness after working for them for about 7 years. Um, and yeah, now currently I am a nutrition coach at a company called Project Lean Nation.
Nice,
So
nice.
yeah.
So, for people who don't know, because there's a lot of people who've never heard of Lifetime, can you describe Lifetime? Is it like your regular gym?
No, it's not. I honestly, it's its own breed. There's really nothing you can compare it to. It is basically a spa plus a gym. They've got pretty much anything you can think of: yoga, all the group fitness classes, coaching, nutrition, supplements, vitamins. They've got your steam room. They've
Mhm.
got a water park. So it's kind of like an all inclusive in one. Yeah.
And by the way, all of them do not have a water park, right?
Not all of them, no. There are different tiers to Lifetime, but they've got many locations all over the US.
You know what? I'll share this with you. I don't know if I've ever shared it with you, but I went to Atlanta. That's where I'm from, and I do have a membership at Lifetime. They call it the Country Club, and I tried to get me and my buddy into one of the locations in Atlanta. And I think the tier that we have out here is diamond
Yeah,
tier.
yeah. I don't think they really label the tiers anymore, but when it was a diamond, yeah, it's like a diamond premier, I think.
Yeah, like a diamond premier. So do you know that there's even tiers to that? So you can have one diamond that's not equivalent to another diamond. I had no
Yeah.
clue.
Yeah, I think it's the price point. So they've got diamond, diamond premier. But even though you're a diamond member, I guess you don't have access to all the diamonds. I think it's everything like at that price point and below. It's a little
Yeah,
tricky. They've changed some things over the years.
yeah, yeah. So folks, when you hear us say gym, just know that the gym we're talking about is a premier country club, what we're referring to.
Yes.
So that's where I met you, and you were working there at the time, and then I think she's probably one of the most popular people that come through there, and we we've seen celebrities come in and out, spot guests, but Caitlin is definitely one of those who is constantly harassed, whether it's male or female, and she can hardly get a good workout in. So just tell us, were you always a health and fitness person, or like walk us through the younger Caitlin?
Oh boy. So I like to say I'm the most unathletic athlete you will ever meet. Um, I have I did not do any sports, no experience in any sports. I think at a very young age, when I was maybe 17, 18 years old, My
Mhm.
father, he would wake me up every single Saturday morning because he knew I wasn't in school. So he'd be like, go to the gym with me, go to the gym with me. I'm like, no, dad, I'm sleeping. I want to get to sleep in. And I think that consistency, kind of weighed on me where I was like, you know what? My dad's healthy. He looks great. He's very successful. He must be doing something right in life. So I'm like, I'll go to the gym with him just to make him happy.
Mhm.
And I did. And I think it started with Saturday workouts with my father. And I think, just watching him and his consistency was such an impact on my life that I just kind of grew into it.
Mhm.
The first couple years was a little rocky. I didn't know what I was doing. I probably hurt myself one too many times. But after that, I don't know. I think it's like one thing I knew I wasn't competing with anybody else other than myself. I
Ah,
didn't. I
yeah.
didn't like the whole sports. I didn't like starting off in sports and aiming and all of that hand-eye coordination. I didn't have that. So when it came to working out, I was like, okay, it's just me against me. And you start to see the results and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. And you start to fall in love with it. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. And then that led me into my years of fitness and health and all of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you had someone to kind of look at to say, well, this person's healthy, and so they must be doing something.
Yeah, he must be doing something. And
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy. He was the one that would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and the gym would open at 5 a.m. He wasn't there at 5 a.m. He was there at 4:50 a.m. waiting for the doors to open. So I was like, this man's crazy, but he's doing
Yeah.
something right.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty amazing. And so I think the hardest part is that people feel like, oh, well, only athletes or people who just love the gym, Monday through Sunday are the only ones that go. But what you're saying is that you actually wasn't big in sports growing up. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Okay. But now you did tell me you were a Cowboys fan?
Yeah, I think that's just something, when you move to Texas, it's kind of hard not to be.
Yeah.
So I am a Cowboys fan. Yes, I do watch the Cowboys. Um, you know, just here to support.
Just here to support. Now, Indiana, that's big for basketball, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
So
Hoosiers and
no,
Pacers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So no Pacers fan?
I grew up going to the games and watching them, but my dad is, of course.
Hmm.
But no, I've never really gotten too much into basketball. I enjoy watching it. I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Okay, all right. That's fair enough. Well, I'm a big basketball guy, and I haven't watched much this year, but I mean, typically well, it was a point where I would eat and breathe and sleep basketball, but now I've kind of gotten off of that, but I'm still a basketball fan. And so my favorite team, everyone knows who knows me, is the Lakers. And
Yeah.
then the home team probably the Hawks. So Atlanta
Okay.
Hawks. So which aren't too good, but we'll move on from that though. So after high school for you, so we're talking 17, 18 years old, you're starting to see results, you're in the gym with your dad. At what point did you start to work out on your own?
Oh, I'm pretty soon. It's only cool for so long when you're working out with your father. So I think the first couple workouts were with him, and then I was like, all right, I got this. When really I didn't have it. Um, but I did a lot of research online. Someone that I followed on YouTube, I think even before social media and all that, was Dana Lynn Bailey. She was
Okay.
like my biggest inspiration. Matter of fact, I think she was my screensaver on my phone for like 2, 3 years.
Okay. Dana
But
Lembailey.
yeah, I did a lot of her workouts. She posted a lot of YouTube videos. So I did that. And again, this is before I knew anything about technique, about form, any of that, right? So I was
Yeah.
just in there picking up weight. And matter of fact, I enjoyed the workout so much that actually led me into more of a style of powerlifting to start off with.
Okay.
Um, it's, I think when you first start working out, you love it so much, so you're not really thinking too much about nutrition. So eating pizza and brownies for dinner was typical for me. As long as I was picking up heavy weight, I was fine. I was fine. So that's where it all originally started.
Okay. So is it common for, I guess, your friends and the people who you hung around with to go to the gym or
No, now it is.
okay.
Back then, no, I don't recall other than my father at the time. I wasn't really surrounded by too many people that were in the gym.
Okay, so it's not like you had a group of friends that you would meet up at the gym to, do cool exercises.
No, never.
I feel like I see a lot of younger kids, at least at the gym that I go to, and that wasn't a thing when I was coming up. It was actually more, we thought weights were optional. And I wish I would have taken weights a lot more serious a lot earlier than what I did. But yeah, it seems like the kids that we see now, they're almost taking all the weights, right? And all the
Yes.
adults gonna get some. So I think the most common thing I hear from people is that, oh, well, it's good for you that, you were able to get started early, but now life has started lifing, and I just don't have the time to get started or don't know how to start. What would you say to those people?
I would probably say incorporate one habit at a time, right? I think a lot of people have, the mindset of, well, if I go to the gym, I need to go to the gym 6, 7 days a week. So I would say just go. Just go to the gym, whether it's one time a week, whether it's 3 times a week. And if the reason, if, an example, let's say, you work 55 hours a week and you have 3 kids and going to the gym right now is not necessarily an option. Well, what are you doing to move? What are you doing to get your metabolism moving on a day-to-day basis? So maybe it even means just starting with a walk a day. Maybe it means
Okay,
starting with 10 push-ups a day. It's starting with incorporating one habit, and once you have that habit down and you're consistent with it, then we can think about incorporating that second habit. But I would just, whatever resources you do have, utilize
hmm
them, and make it happen.
ah, yeah, that's good. So, I mean, just get started at wherever you are in life is what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you study like health and fitness in school?
No, I actually didn't go to school at all. I mentioned earlier, I was in sales, so 10 years of working at sales in the health industry. Um, and it actually originally started at LA Fitness, right when I turned
Ah,
18, 19. I call it my first big girl job, was working at LA Fitness as a sales
ah,
rep. And I think being in that environment was inspirational in a sense. But later on is when I dove into some certifications that helped
mm,
me with some education. But to be honest, the education aspect comes from years of working with coaches and years
mm.
of living it. Of you know when it comes to what you eat, it comes from failing a couple times, getting back up, doing it over again. Same with workouts. It's just more of the consistency and constantly trying to educate myself throughout the process.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, so what did you learn from your years of sales? Like, what skills and what doors has that opened up for you?
A lot. Um, Man, really, honestly, I'd say probably communication in general, right? I'm a pretty introverted person. I did not have any social skills. Overcoming objections was huge, but the biggest thing really in sales wasn't necessarily closing the deal, right? It comes down to that relationship, that discovery center, that
Mm,
discovery part of meeting that person before you even introduce whatever product you're selling or health or fitness, right? I think you know this is hard for anybody, including myself. And I think a lot of people in sales can relate to this, but usually you do 20% of the talking, the guest does 80% of the talking,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And usually they can sell themselves and convince themselves they need it more than you can. So
Yeah.
that was something I learned a lot. And it's sales has kind of taught me a lot when it comes to relationships too. Taking a minute to pause, to think, and to be empathetic of their situation so you can remind them of why they showed up in the first place and why they were
Mm.
interested in the first place. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can recall my years of going to LA Fitness because that's actually where I used to go when I was back home and when I moved out here to the Dallas area. But I can recall just wanting to play basketball. And every time you would come in there and you didn't have a membership and you were just trying to pay your money so you can go in there and play, you saw one of the salespeople coming up, and I'm like, look,
Yep.
I've seen this place before every weekend. I just want to play ball, you know?
Yep.
So I would put on this angry face to look like a customer that y'all wouldn't want at the club. So
Yep.
that's interesting. That's funny that you started there.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I don't know how I got into it, but I just wanted to be in the gym. To be honest, I didn't really care too much about sales. But then, you kind of realize like, oh, this isn't sales. This is really helping people.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah. So I mean, was it always smooth sailing for you? Like it sounds like you had uh, pretty good pretty good start to your health and fitness journey. Then you started in sales, which as good as you get, you can get a lot of compensation on the back end for that. So was it always just kind of smooth sailing, or were there some hurdles along the way?
throughout sales or throughout life,
Well, both. Whatever
both.
you think
Um,
would help.
yeah. So Indiana was not an easy market for the health industry. The Midwest is, it's tough. All you have out there is beer, and pizza. That's really it. There's not many. I'd say there's probably more different people nowadays
Hmm.
because I think health has become more popular and people are more aware of it. But back then, it was a lifetime membership. I was selling for $49 to $79 a membership, and that, and Jonathan, here in Texas, that's unheard of,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And people still would have rather gone to Planet Fitness or to not get a membership at all because they didn't want to invest into their health, and people didn't realize this was an investment into the longevity of their future.
Hmm.
So that was really tough. And matter of fact, I knew I wanted to get out of Indiana. Um, I knew it. I applied several times to different locations in Arizona and Texas, and I think I got denied two or three times because I needed to be higher up in production. I needed to be one of the top. This is with Lifetime, one of the top sales managers out there,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is tough out here. Like looks a lot easier in the big states on near the
Yeah.
water and in Texas. So I had to hustle and it was not easy. It was 5 a.m. sometimes till 10 o'clock at night. But it wasn't just working at Lifetime, it was being involved and living, practice what I would preach, right? So
Mm.
Pilates, yoga. If I get my, they have hair appointments and stuff there, I was getting my hair done there. So I could,
Mm.
like, have a testimonial for every department of that facility so I could connect
Oh
with
wow.
people better.
Yeah.
So I was probably doing 2 to 3 workouts a day. Was it healthy? Probably not. But I hustled. So
Wow.
that was a lot of hurdles, especially trying to have that work life balance. I don't think I had that at that time, and I think that's something I've had to work on the past couple of years is finding that work life balance
Hmm.
because work for many years was my number one focus.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was healthy, but I wouldn't say that I was emotionally and spiritually healthy during that time.
Ah, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. And so you did you grow up a spiritual person? Like did you go to churches growing up
Yeah.
or okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I grew up very involved in church, a Christian church. My parents were very involved in the ministry and mission trips and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. I wouldn't necessarily say I knew too much of what a relationship with God was until probably the past 4 years. But yeah, was something I grew up around. I'm very, very grateful and blessed that I was.
Right. Nice. Dope. Dope. So you got a healthy balance of both being grounded spiritually. You got the health and fitness that you take seriously, and it sounds like you have a work ethic that to you that you're saying the word hustle, but kind of what I hear you saying is that you developed a work ethic around working to get what you wanted to get.
Sure,
Is that
yeah.
is that is that
Yeah.
about right? So
Yeah, that is accurate.
so you say about can you share with us a little bit more? You say about 4 years ago you were just starting to really walk with God and build your relationship with Him about 4 years ago. So how has that been? If you're speaking to the person who were the younger you 4 years ago, what were you kind of going through at that time? Because it sounds like 4 years ago, you had a good work ethic and you were this fit person. So everything on the surface was shouting, "Hey, this is someone who's got it going on." But
Yeah,
maybe you felt like you needed to be, in a better place. So just kind of walk us through that.
sure. Yeah, I had my hurdles and stuff, right outside of high school. I mean, I've had my hurdles all the past 10 years, but I would say my relationship with God really was tested and challenged the past 4 years, right? COVID was, a big landmark for
Yeah,
that.
that was yeah, absolutely.
And moving to Frisco, Texas was absolutely a dream come true. It was beautiful. Everything about it was amazing. And there were many challenges that I had to face. And I had realized that I'm not trusting God with this. I am
Mhm.
trying to have control of everything that is happening in my life and trying to, not even manage my emotions, but more so mask my emotions. Churches were shut down, and I could have even just watched church online, and I didn't. There were many other coping mechanisms and areas of my life that I tried to find assurance. I tried to deal with, my emotions and everything that was going on, not having a job, not having family or friends around. And instead of going to God like the way that I knew to do and the way that I was raised to do, I didn't. I just tried to handle absolutely everything on my own.
Mhm.
And I think it led to not just one, but many, many breaking points in my life. And it took me to finally surrender and open my heart up to God and be like, hey, I'm not in control of this anymore.
Mhm.
This is God's will. This is no longer my will. To be able to realize that and develop that relationship with God. I still don't have it perfect, but I would say, each time that a challenge is thrown at me, I handle it differently and I am more and more trusting of His will over mine. So,
Yeah, and that's dope, and I can definitely relate to that. A couple, was it this year? I think it was earlier this year, or it might have been last year. It might have been last year, but yeah, I was doing a lot of carrying, heavy carrying on my own, where I had a lot of ideas, and just trying to juggle being in leadership at my job, and also helping people in the basketball space. I just had a ton of weight that was on me, and what I realized was that I was carrying all this load, right? And I wasn't sharing it with anybody. I was just kind of like, hey, I got this, I got this, I got this. And then one day I was in church and at the end, I just broke down, right? I just went up to the front. They kind of do like the altar call, and they're like, hey, if there's anything we can pray with you about, we're here from the front. So me and my wife, my wife Lauren, we
Mm-hmm.
go up front. We're holding hands with the lady, whoever was up there praying at the time, and I just break down and start crying. And so we got our eyes closed like this, and then she looks up and she's like, "Is he?" She has no idea what to do, and I'm just, I at that moment I realized that God was still with me, but He was kind of like, "Hey, whenever you're ready to give me some of this, then I can help you, with a lot of what you're carrying if you just let go." And so I definitely can relate to your story when you kind of sharing a lot of this stuff. So
Yeah.
when,
And isn't it so cool though, like that feeling of when you actually do let go and you let God, it's a silly phrase. People say it all the time, but it's one of the most real things out there. It's like, let go, surrender, and just trust God. And it's crazy the weight that you feel released from your shoulders when you do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
When you surrender
And I,
that, yeah, it's awesome.
and I think what people don't realize, if they haven't experienced it already, is because they don't realize that it doesn't feel like weight. It just feels like your everyday, you just feel like you. And so you don't realize that there's a weight on you until you experience it, until you go to God and you say, "All right, I'm giving it to you." Only then will you realize that, oh man, I was heavier than what I realized.
Yeah.
You
It's a really
know?
good way to put it. It's so true. It's so true. It's like you start to see things differently. You're like, you're smiling on the way to work and you don't even know why you're smiling. Like, oh,
Yeah, they're like, "What's up with you?"
yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I 1,000% agree with you when you say, you just kind of realize you were doing a lot of this stuff on your own, and you just give it up to God, and then you walk alongside Him, and you see how certain doors open up,
Yeah.
and so is that kind of the beginning of how we got to Project Lean?
Oh, beginning there's, um, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm trying to think back to how I got, so Project Lean Nation was a God blessing. Right. Yeah, I hit my rock bottom, the hardest time of my life, end of 2023.
Oh, okay.
More around fall of 2023. Was my hardest season of my life,
Mm,
and was a big cry out to God. Many things had happened in my life. I am a recovering alcoholic. So some tragic things happened there where I realized, okay, I need to focus on my sobriety. I left a very unhealthy relationship, and that it took a while to heal from. Um, and I also was working full time on my business. And during a time of desperate healing and a lot of needed time with the Lord, I had realized working on my business was not the healthiest thing for me at the time. I needed to be around people and good people. And I actually was introduced to the owners of Project Lean Nation through a friend. It was a brand new business, had only been opened maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I went in there with her. She introduced me to the owner, and it was, total God alignment because the owners were actually really good friends with some of my spiritual mentors at church. And also a company that I work underneath that I'm an associate with is called ID Life, who's located in Frisco. It's a DNA business, and they are also leaders of that company as well.
mm,
So the alignment, when I walked in and I met them and interviewed with them, it there was not even a question of doubt. I was like, this is where I need to be. The company was everything that the company has to offer is right in alignment with, my future and my goals. But the people that I was working for,
mm.
that was a total God alignment. It was so cool.
Dope. Dope. So I just wanted, because you said a lot there, and I think that there's a lot of gems that that people can take away. So you did say you were a recovering alcoholic. So
Yes.
I guess I mean, when did the, I guess, indulgence in alcohol begin for you?
Oh, I think your typical 21st birthday was, you know, I can't say that I didn't, try my drinks before then, but I, I wouldn't really say my indulging on it. I didn't necessarily have too much of an issue until I moved to Texas. I would say some of it started around COVID time. Um, it was a great coping mechanism with loneliness.
Hmm.
And then I would say 2021.
Okay, so
And
right after the pandemic.
yes, yeah. It got pretty bad. I was surrounded by it a lot. I was traveling a lot. It was always in front of me, and I took advantage of it.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
I would say I didn't realize it was an issue until end of 2021, and then yeah.
So I guess most people, including myself, just assumes that if you're a fit person, that you're pretty much, saying no to any kind of drinks and everything like that. But I guess what you're saying is that you were able to still drink here and there, and then also still maintain your physique. So I guess. You never really know who is going through what. So did you have any friends and support systems to kind of check in with, during your time where I guess you were going through your ups and downs?
Um, as in during the time that I was heavily drinking.
Yeah. Hmm.
No, I actually, not many people would have or did know that I had an issue with alcohol.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say it started with alcohol, right? It started with many other coping mechanisms years ago. And then
Okay.
alcohol just became that number one easy access crutch of mine.
Mm.
But I was never big on going out and having fun and all of that. I was one to just go home and drink. It was the first thing that I thought about, but I did not want anybody to know.
Hmm.
Now, some people did end up, finding out down the line, the
Hmm.
closer I got to starting my sobriety journey. But no, I didn't want anybody to know. I didn't want
Hmm.
anybody to know. Alcoholics really one you don't even want to admit you're an alcoholic, so
Yeah.
you're convincing yourself as an alcoholic that you're not an alcoholic. You're trying to
Uh,
convince yourself I don't have an issue. So
hmm.
if you don't believe you have an issue, why would you want to reach out and ask anybody else for help?
Hmm.
So it took a long time, and it took some pretty hard breaking points where it was no longer silent for me to realize, oh, this is an issue, and I need to seek help. And I think that
Wow.
was probably like my biggest lesson, honestly, the past couple of years is asking for help
Hmm.
when it comes to really anything. So
Got you. And I'll be honest with you. One of the times I was at the gym, or not at the gym, at the store, and I think me and the boys, we were getting smoothies, and I think I asked you, hey, did you have any plans for the weekend? Any football? I think there were some big games coming on, and you said no, just hanging out with my sobriety sisters. And I'll be honest, I had no idea what sobriety meant. And I think I said, your sorority sisters? And you,
I think you
and
did.
you and you were like, no, no, my sobriety sisters. And I was just like, okay, yeah. I thought it was just like some kind of cool like sister club or something. I had no idea until, when I asked you to join the show, and we were just kind of talking about, some big accomplishments that you've done, and then you kind of explained it in detail. And I was like, oh, that's what that meant. So
Yeah.
okay, so you're kind of in this, you're kind of at the lowest point of your life last year. So, can you just share with us, like, what were some of the steps, or what are some steps that we could do if if we're struggling with, alcohol, like, or how do you know? What are the signs that you can kind of pick up on it early?
Sure. I think one of the biggest things, and to figure out if you need help or if you are struggling with whether it's substances, whether it's alcohol, any type of coping mechanism is, are you comfortable enough sitting in your emotions and in your thoughts? Can you sit down for a total of 10 to 30 minutes in complete silence and let your brain wander? Are you okay with sitting in those thoughts? Whether it's, this isn't just on a typical day, right? Let's say you've had an absolutely terrible, terrible day. Can you really sit down for 20 to 30 minutes and be okay and comfortable in your thoughts? And if you can't, if the first thing that you're thinking about is going home, and it could even be as simple as watching TV, it could be, having a drink is the first thing on your mind. Oh, I really need a drink, or a substance. Like, usually that's a good indicator that there is something wrong. Um, I can't tell you that you have an issue, right? You have to be able to tell yourself that. And
Hmm.
sometimes it just takes willingness to, admit that, hey, I think I have an issue. And another thing is going to and talking to somebody else about it. Not everybody's going to be able to relate to you, but finding somebody that maybe has been through what you've been through is going to be extremely helpful.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That. And I know that you were also very, very active in your church, and so that's also a good place that people can go for support, especially if you don't
Yeah.
have family maybe in the places you're at.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you don't have family, I think church is great. I will throw this out there. If anybody is struggling with alcohol, there's usually an AA group within 5-10 miles from you. I mean,
Mm.
they're everywhere. So it's hard to walk into those rooms, but when you walk in, sometimes you feel right at home.
Oh
It's pretty
wow.
great. There are a lot. I was extremely surprised. Um, but I had no idea that there were as many people out there struggling with the same thing as me.
Oh, okay. So it's that feeling where like you think it's just you and you're just in this alone, but then when you realize that there's other people that's also dealing with the same things, it kind of gives you this sense of release.
Yeah, yeah. I think more of the freedom of vulnerability
Ah,
being,
yeah.
one, there's acceptance, and two, there is, you're able to be vulnerable with other people that are as ill as you.
Hmm.
So you're not only just opening up about your substance abuse or alcohol or whatever the case is, you're also opening up about anything that you're struggling with in life.
Hmm.
So you're not even just relating on that, you're relating to people that might be struggling with that other issue, or relationship issues, your job, whatever it is, finances. So yeah, it kind of helps you through a walk of life.
And so now you're on this journey and things are going good. I know you were really, really excited to kind of talk to me about the woman you've become. And so, uh, can you kind of give us some insight on like what the journey's like from the moment you start, and what is that like? How has that been for you?
Like the start of my sobriety,
The
or
Yeah,
okay.
the start of your sobriety.
Yeah, yeah. So this is actually not my first time around trying to be sober.
Hmm.
I was sober for a year, and I relapsed when I hit some pretty dark times of my life. Um, I think I got sober for maybe the wrong reasons, maybe specifically for somebody, maybe just to see how disciplined I was. And I did it, and then I quickly relapsed. But I'll be honest, I was absolutely miserable during that first year of sobriety. I probably found so many other coping mechanisms, whether it was watching TV, CBD gummies, whether it was working out way harder than I should have been for many hours just to avoid
Mhm.
my own thoughts.
Mhm.
And then the beginning of this year, actually January 1st to be exact, was the start of not just a year, but of a transformational, journey. And I didn't just focused on my sobriety, I also found a sponsor, someone, a mentor. I mentioned earlier, I'm a big believer in always having a coach, whether it's,
Coach. Yeah.
whether it's, a health coach, a workout coach, whether it's maybe even a therapist, a
Yeah.
mentor, a spiritual mentor, and this amazing lady in my life, has helped me work several steps within the program.
Mhm.
And that was and is still to this day life changing.
Yeah.
So it started off with that. It was not easy. It took, the beginning of the year, I said, this is going to be my year of doing what I need to do, not what I want to do.
Mm.
So anytime that I'm like, I do not want to go to this, I do not want to do this, I'm quickly to flip a switch and be like, but I get to do this. Not,
Mhm.
I need to do this. I also get to do this. So showing up was one of the hardest things for me. But I've done it, and it has been life changing. I could talk on and on about that, to be honest.
You see how excited you get about that.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, the biggest, the biggest thing that I guess the common theme is just like get started with something, even if it's just step one, which is small step, just get started. And also the and I say this all the time, but the my best performance in my life, or the times that I did the best, was when I had a coach of some sort, whether it was a health and fitness coach, or if it was a basketball trainer or basketball coach, mentor at church, all those things. I had a coach, and so if there's something that I would say in life that you're just trying to get better at or trying to get help with, find yourself a coach. And so, Caitlin, are you a coach? Are you? I know you had started a business, or how are you feeling about coaching these days?
Yeah, so I do a couple of different things. I would consider myself a coach at Project Lean Nation. So that's one spot. I'm considered a nutrition coach there. And then I also do coaching, online health coaching. So whether you're struggling with your hormones, whether it's just honestly, like we said, getting started in nutrition or workouts, I do help and coach along the way in that. So yeah, those are two things that I focus on. Yeah.
Nice. And is it men and women, or is it just women, or?
Yeah, so primarily women when it comes to hormones and when it comes to workout programming and whatnot. When it comes to nutrition at Project Lean Nation, I work with women and men. We do take on members there that are men and women, and we can easily help and guide you guys there.
Okay. And Project Lean Nation, where, I mean, is that nationwide, or is
Yeah.
that local?
Yeah, there are many locations all over the U.S. in DFW. There are a total of three locations. We just opened up our second one. So Michael and Kimberly Smith, they are the owners. They just opened up another one in Coppell, and I am located in Frisco.
Okay. And I've seen one off of 380 not that long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
And
that is Prosper location. That was the first one to open up.
oh, that was the first one.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
yes,
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw that one and I was like, oh, I didn't know that they had a spot over here. So yeah,
yep.
that was pretty cool. Okay, so it's growing. It's growing. So, what's your life these days in Dallas? Are you enjoying the Dallas area? Are you dating or?
I am not currently dating. I mean, yes and no. I am. Um, Yes and no. My life is great in Dallas. I am so blessed to be here. I do work full time at Frisco Project Lean Nation. I go to a beautiful church called Rock Creek and Prosper, and God has aligned me with the most amazing friends and support system that I call family. It took a couple years, but God's promises always come true, and the people that I'm surrounded with, this is home.
hmm Yeah, yeah. So let's go ahead and weed some of these people out that are gonna be all in your DM, all trying to contact you.
Oh boy,
You are not interested in any knuckleheads, anybody that's trying to reach out to you for the wrong reasons. All right.
it's true. It's very true.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So I think you're awesome. I think you're an awesome person. I told you that, and I think you are going to be helping a lot of people, both in the health and fitness journey, but then also too just being so transparent and open about uh, your journey, continuous journey on defeating alcohol. So I really, really do think that you're doing a good job,
Thank you.
and
Appreciate
I
that.
think you help a lot of people. I think you help a lot of people.
I appreciate that.
So
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. So if somebody wants to connect with you, if somebody wants to reach out to you and work with you, what's the best place for them to contact you right now?
Sure. So, a couple platforms. If you're interested in nutrition coaching and if you live in the DFW area, a great place to start is going to be on Instagram. We have an awesome page. It is Project Lean Nation _ Frisco. If you are interested in ladies, if you guys are interested in health coaching, whenever it comes to workout and nutrition program, or even just getting started on your overall health, you can reach out to me at Empow Her, which is HER. Empow Her with Katelyn, and that is KATELYN.
Awesome, awesome. Well, hey, you are guest number two, and it has been awesome. So, again, I want to say thank you so much. I think that this podcast is a place for people who are doing amazing things that can help people in their lives, whether it be spiritually, financially, or their health and fitness journey. And so, I think you are the perfect guest for that. So, again, thank you for blessing us with your stories and your presence on this show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate y'all having me on here. You've been a
Yeah.
rock star.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So I will wrap it up, and if you need anything from me, I will see you around the area soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Continue to build those skills. All right. I'm out.